Right, hi guys. So this is Thursday's stream. I uploaded the on-chain data today, just a very brief overview, just summarizing the main parts. Nothing too strenuous. Basically, we're seeing accumulation by the smaller wallets, but not by the bigger wallets, and the actual overall accumulation amount is quite large, to be honest. So this is obviously good for markets to go up, or for Bitcoin prices to go up. So that's the on-chain. We'll have a quick look at whale map and macro. We're still in sort of the same space. We're waiting for this stuff all to kick off from May onwards. So this will be the Fed announcing the plans for higher interest rates, the quantitative tightening. So that will be the normalizing of the balance sheet. That will be a selling off of Fed assets. So these will not be good from sort of May, June, July onwards. But I think it'll be like June, July will not be very good at all. I think that's when you can see the low on Bitcoin. But for now, let's look at to go to the overall, mostly this session will be on charts. I'll go through all the usual charts we usually go through, and I'll go through the sort of other charts that we don't usually regularly cover. So I'll go through that as well. Firstly, starting with the S&P, had a bit of a rejection day today, rejected in the orange box of the last orange box. I think this can come down a bit more. I think we can get a bounce higher because people need now, like with inflation at 8.5%. There's not many you can't sit as a big investor. You can't sit in cash because your purchasing power is going down by, I don't know what the other way round is, but like 8.5%, give or take. So if your purchasing power is going down by that amount, you need to be making at least 3, 4, 5, 6% to reduce the loss of the purchasing power you've incurred. So they have to stay in equities. They have to stay in something. That's why I think we've seen the markets be, relatively quite resilient, which overall has been good. I think Bitcoin has actually been really good in comparison to a lot of other things. Like we looked at, or like the Facebook stock, or if we look at ARK, we'll have a look at all of these. Facebook is down from all-time highs from 382 to 190, so it's halved. I mean, we're not on Bitcoin. We're not as bad as halving. Where it's from 68, that would have taken you down to what, 34. We sort of did come down to 34, but we're a good sort of 10, 15, 20% above that. Let's look at ARK on the daily. ARK is down hugely on the daily. So they've gone from 160 down to 53. I mean, like that, yeah, that's incredible. That's just gone down an awful lot. They've lost probably 66, 67% of their value there. But yeah, overall, not very good. Let's look at Bitcoin. So let's look at Bitcoin and we'll start going down to the 12-hour. So overall, I've got used to this trackpad now on this new computer, so I'm pretty good. Well, I'll still get it wrong sometimes, but... So here, on the 12-hour, we're okay. We didn't get any bear divs, but we did on the 4-hour. Now, this isn't disastrous. Like here, we got the bear div. Then we also got a bear div here. That led to us prices going higher, but prices eventually went lower. So the 4-hour is not too bad. Don't worry too much about the 4-hour. If you get bear divs, bull divs, the minimum time frame you want to be looking at really is 12-hour. So 12 hours the first time we got the significant bull div there, which has shot us up. We're now running into some resistance. We rejected at 43, which is the 50% line, which is what I was commenting before. Probably should have taken a small bit of profits, but I wanted to see if it could run further because I didn't think this would be enough, this resistance, but I thought 43.9 would be enough. So here I'm probably wrong. I now want to see this sort of hold. Even if you come down to 4,900, I still think that's okay. Because if you think about it, we were there this time yesterday. So it's completely okay to come back, retest them levels, and try and see us go higher again from there. So overall, I think I'm still happy to hold the trade that we're in. I do want us to build some support and try and make a further rally higher. But if we do come down and test sort of like 4,900 again, I am going to be okay. I am going to be comfortable with that happening. And just to let you guys know, and I have said this a couple times already, I have raised my stop loss to 39,000 so that we're completely in the trade for profits. So there's no worries there. We can't lose out on this trade. So we're all okay. But let's get rid of this orange box because that's now done. And yeah, the main thing I want to see is the support being held, or a formation of some support, and then a move up. But this isn't going to be something that's going to happen today or tomorrow. I think it might take a couple of days, and then you might get a move up towards the start of next week, mid next week. So let's see how it goes. But we might get relief over the weekend as well. So let's see. But overall, I'm still happy to hold the trade. But I still think 44 is probably the top area of where we're going to go. Yeah, I just don't think we can do much more than that, to be honest. Let's look at Ethereum or Ether. So if this hadn't have got this low and the bull div, it filled the yellow box perfectly, created that bull div on the 12 hour and then popped through. This now is like struggling at the 3140 area, the horizontal resistance, as we can see, and look, 4 very similar looking candles. I think I'm happy to hold this. It's because we've got an S&P rejection today. It's because we've gone and got that candle. And crypto at this moment, come on, what's going on? I'm not sure why this has stopped working. There we go. So the reason we've got this rejection candle today is because the correlation between Ethereum and Bitcoin and the S&P is so high at this moment in time. So when S&P comes down and pulls down like this, and I mean this has happened all in the last since 2:30, so 3.5 hours ago. It's happened in a 3.5 hour window. We've come down from 4490 down to 4434. These are going to pull back slightly, but overall I don't think we're too bad. I want to see how the day closes out though. That's what I'm mostly looking at for Ethereum. Ideally, you want to see that the lows aren't broken at 3040. If they are, you might be a little bit worried. But we want to see if we can get above 3140. That's the main place, 3140. So look at Litecoin. Litecoin's in its sort of bearish flag almost. If Bitcoin starts topping out, this may be one I consider shorting. The fact we're below a horizontal support, you could have a horizontal support probably there. Here is probably your best bet. Let's just draw that in. Something like that. So I would think now, if we can come down and break through this level here. Sorry, let me get that saved. If we can break through the flag and come down, this could be quite a nice short. You could easily get a move from 105 down to 90, something like that. You know, that would be a good 100% on leverage. So this might be something I'm looking at as a potential short. In terms of longing it, the volume is shocking. It's really bad. It did spike up a tad, but it's downtrending. Let me zoom right back in again. But it's downtrending again now. But it wasn't too bad. But we had been in a great overall. As you can see, downtrend was okay here, not so great, bit better, bit better, bit better, but then all the way it's just always coming downwards. The overall amount is always coming down, other than this little section here, which is good to eventually see, but I do think this will eventually break down. Yeah, I just have no confidence in this coin anymore. So look at FTT. So FTT was manipulated on that Sunday, I think it was, on the close of the week. And then we got these 2 weird type candles and then this one following it, because it was in this long bear flag and they did try and save it and get it back into or above the 43.79. They tried to get it back above that. So what they've effectively tried to do there is save the candle from closing a bad weekly. If we look at the weekly, see, look, they were battling here. They knew they were in this uptrend and they were trying to save them. If I can, let me hide the drawings. There you go. So we were in this uptrend there. I can't draw it now because otherwise I'll lose the prior ones. But it was this candle here that you had all the volatility, and it came in the last few hours. So it came really late on Sunday evening and in the early hours of Monday morning. So they clearly tried to save it. which is why you then close somewhere between it, and they've tried to get it above this 43.79, and then when you had the dump the next day, obviously you then go and fill the rest of that candle wick with the following weekly candle because there's no confidence left in the market for it. So overall, I'm not too... Look at the volume it got as well. And that was all from insiders doing that, probably. It really is all from insiders doing that. So I think overall... And, you know, you were operating at 41.50 and you could have got out at 46. It was a quick 10% take. So I think overall you're looking at something like this, which was heavily manipulated. They're now probably staying away from it. And this is now probably no good to trade, especially with it battling at this 43.79 resistance. But yeah, I just don't think it's any good to trade now because you can see there's manipulation behind it. And we didn't really like here, it was in free fall, but it was never saved at any point. So this is the first time I've really seen it be manipulated. And that can only really have come from insiders. So yeah, overall, not too great. Solana, I actually don't mind. I would have wanted this to get above 115 level though. That would have been the area I wanted it to get above. But even here, it's actually not that bad a long. If we can close a decent Bitcoin candle tonight, this might be one I consider longing for a move up to 115, maybe 120. But that would be a high risk play as such. I'm not like ridiculously confident on it, especially if you look at the 4 hour. I think it might be, no, it's okay. Yeah, I was thinking it might get a bull div on the, a bear div on the 4 hour, but we've actually been okay. So I think here, because this could almost be seen as a horizontal support, somewhere like there at 104.84. So if we can hold above 105, 106, Bitcoin closes okay this evening, having not lost its support, I might enter Sol first thing in the morning as a long, but only as it's a high risk play, very short term, just to maybe take 5% or so. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Sol. I'm considering this not as a big play, but as a small quick play potentially. BNB, I wouldn't mind seeing this retest the wedge, but I still don't think I would be a buyer there. Overall, the main place I would have bought would have been on a bull div, so a new lower low in price. Obviously, we didn't get it. We got a higher low. But if we got a lower low in price, a bounce off 380, and a bull div had set in, that would have been a great long. I really would have taken that. We got something actually like that on Bitcoin, which is why we took the trade. And Bitcoin has moved pretty well from our entry at 39,000. So BNB, I'm not really a huge fan of. It's had decreasing volume for a long while. Yeah, pretty much since the November high. Constant downtrend in volume. So I can't really be too interested in this. And it's out of its main master uptrend. So we're now operating below it, which is why you don't get these significant volume. And obviously we can see the volume is decreasing. Because when things are out of their main trend, they just can't gather the momentum, the buyers to come in. So for that reason, not interested in BNB. Matic was a good one. If Matic comes down and retests 140 and Bitcoin closes well, Matic is another one I may consider. Even though the volume is not good, we got the bull div, which was nice, and we've closed like neatly above this local downtrend. Let's see how you've done here. So you're still in this main sort of downtrend area here. Something like that. So you are still, but this was a topping like pattern. So you can't really say this creates the downtrend. This is more of a clear downtrend. We are above it. This may be worth a long, although I think Sol is the better version of this kind of trade. So for that reason, I would rather enter Sol than I would rather enter Matic. And I think now you've got to be careful with what you're doing in terms of trading. Polkadot. If Polkadot can get above 1909, this might be one I consider a long for because it's shown some decent strength, to be honest. So this overall is very good, and you didn't even get the bull div there because you didn't get the lower low in price. So overall, this is pretty good, and I do quite like it. I want to see how it closes tonight, and I think the Bitcoin close tonight is really important as well. So you want to see how these things close in comparison to the Bitcoin close. But again, the main area we're looking at is 1910. Obviously, Friday morning is tomorrow, so you'll have a fresh watch list. So hopefully, if we get some decent activity this evening, there should be a few opportunities tomorrow. Chainlink, absolutely rubbish. Literally is rubbish. Really disappointing because I thought here this could have been a really good play here, but the fact it showed just such little amount of strength the whole time. And again, similar to BNB. Look how long this uptrend is. All the way from March 2020, it's held this long uptrend, and now we're below. And look how bad look at the volume. If you zoom out, you can see how downtrending it's been since probably there in early January, and that's when we exited early January. I think we got out January the 11th on most of our coins. So overall, when coins are out of these main uptrend lines, which you can see here, they get very little momentum and can never really reclaim significant price levels, because really you should be saying, well, if we can get back into the uptrend, then I might become bullish. But you're at 14. You need to go all the way back to 2021. You need to have a 50% move. So nobody's going to enter that with that kind of almost, that's probably considered risk level, because you could easily come back down to, say, here at 8. You could even come back into the 10s. So there's still a significant pullback here potentially if the market turns much worse. And for it to gain any significant strength and momentum to come in, it would have to be above 21, and you need a 50%, and you're at 14. So you need a 50% move from where we are now to get anywhere near close to the other sort of significant players in the market coming into this coin. So for that reason, I think Chainlink is one of the worst plays out there at this moment in time. AVAX isn't too bad. I actually do quite like it. I like the fact we got the bull div. I like the fact we're above the horizontal resistance at 76. Again, this is similar to Solana. I may consider actually entering this dependent on how Bitcoin closes. But as you can see, Bitcoin does just keep coming down. S&P keeps coming down. So that's no shock. But yeah, I think it's very, very important how we close tonight. The ones we've got our eye on: Solana, Matic, AVAX. In order of ranking, I'd probably go Solana most favourable, then AVAX, then Matic. But yeah, we need to stay above 76. We're out of the main downtrend. We've sort of been holding this level, although we did have that wick. Well, not even a wick, it was a candle closure below. So we have had this candle closure below, but we've reclaimed. So we're still in this sort of decent uptrend, although the main one was sort of set back here. But obviously it was so steep, there's nothing you can really take. We could almost say this one is the trend starter. Yeah, because you could even say you're going across like that and you're still in the main one, but I don't think that's a very good trend line, to be honest. I think you're better off sticking with what we have here. And overall, this is quite good. Maybe I would position this above Solana even. I think I actually would. I was just going to say I was considering entering it now, but I am fearful of this close tonight. So let's wait till the close tonight. We'll wake up first thing in the morning. I'll add a fresh watch list. If AVAX is looking good, if AVAX is looking good and Bitcoin has closed not negatively, then I think I'll enter AVAX. Luna. So if Bitcoin can get to a 43, 44, and we've seen it at 43 today, earlier today, this is where the short will be in here. So you've created some kind of, you probably might even get, no, you wouldn't get a bear div. No, you wouldn't get a bear div on the daily. On the 12-hour, you could possibly get a bear div in there. Luna is possibly one of the ones I will short. I just think it has these mental moves and it's due to come down loads. The part that scares me is, I can't remember the guy's name that owns it. It's Do Kwon or something. He he's done a few really like ultra excessively bullish tweets in the last day or two. So I feel like if he announces a big bit of news, then Luna might pump, and that is the only thing that frightens me out potentially doing a short, because that's almost like when I say don't trade against the Fed, that's like don't long Bitcoin now for like a long period of time when the Fed is going through this tightening cycle. If Luna is going through this bullish momentum of buying up loads of Bitcoin and they've got loads of hype and chat on crypto Twitter, it's not something you really want to be shorting. You want to be shorting when they've sort of run out of things to do, short into that, and as they go quiet, that's when prices will come down and your short will pay. But this was one I've got my eye on, but I've had my eye on for a couple of days. Lovely bounce in the green box. When we start thinking a Bitcoin top is in, then we'll consider the Luna short. But I've got my eye on it for the next couple of days, week or so. I'm not looking to take any action right now. Curve needs to get above 236. That's it. Nothing more needs to be said on it. It's out of the main uptrend. Rejected in the local orange box. You see with Curve, it rejects in local orange boxes. It can't get much strength. So here it rejected, here it rejected. Overall, I think if we can get above 236, it might be worth considering longing, but I don't want to add exposure to loads of alts right now. So if I can pick a Solana or an AVAX as a small, riskier long, then I'd rather those than a Curve, if that makes sense. So at this moment in time, I still want to be not heavily exposed to anything. I would still rather play the bigger caps, the biggest ones. That's why I sort of still think Solana potentially over AVAX, but AVAX is still like a large cap, so it doesn't really like concern me too much. But Curve I know is a much smaller cap. So for that reason, I think it's better off to play the big ones and weight them heavier against the small ones in terms of opportunities. And when you consider the AVAX opportunity over the Curve one, I still think AVAX is better. Let's look at Phantom. Okay, this is not too bad. And from Phantom onwards, I will be looking at these for the first time, well, maybe in like the last 24 hours. But this is the first time I've looked at these ones today. So hopefully you'll see my reaction straight away off the bat. Phantom, it looks okay here. Above 116 is not too bad. You did get a bull div. Yep, you got the bull div. Did you? Yeah, you did get the bull div. So lower low in price, higher low in the oscillator. Now above the horizontal support or resistance and found it as support. So this overall is quite good. I'm actually considering this. The only thing with this is I think in order to get some significant reward out of it, you need momentum to come in. And the volume is not great. It's not one that's really... Look at the sell-off it's had over the last few months. This could easily tank back down again. So is this not something you really want to get involved in? I may consider a really small long play, but I think you're going to struggle to get the momentum to take this considerably higher. And I think at best you'll go to 147, at absolute best. But it could be a nice move overall. But I just know it's a not a small cap, but got very little momentum in terms of price bounces. I'll think about it. We'll potentially put it in the watch list tomorrow, but for now I'm thinking about it, not too confident about entering in. Sand. So Sand here is looking okay. I think the opportunity is gone. We should have entered somewhere here, but it did close below. Let's zoom in. But we did get a close below for the first time, the horizontal support. So that's something that is actually a little bit scary, and I wouldn't have been diving in there. Again, when the opportunities come, take them when they come. This is not, if you'd have cut away from where my cursor is on the right hand side and you just saw the left hand side, you wouldn't take the risk of getting involved in that. It's not worth the risk for the potential reward. I mean, the reward has been from 265 to say a top of 310. So let's say you got out at 3, which would have been a pretty good trade. You'd have got maybe 15%, 150% on leverage. But what happens if you'd have tanked 10% from here, which would have been very doable, very possible to come down to there? Your risk and reward are practically the same. And considering it has shown higher lows every single time, Is it worth getting involved? For me, it's not worth getting involved. I know it's one of the not smaller caps, but it's not a large cap. So for that reason, I can't be fully interested in it. Mana, similar story here. Got a nice chunk of volume there though. Didn't really do much. Okay, so similar story actually to Sand, other than the fact it hasn't held a complete support level. Trying to think what my thoughts are. This is crazy. The fact it's gone from 78 cent to 350. So overall, I'm not. This is sort of no man's land territory. You're not above any significant level, but you're not. You know, even here you would say is a horizontal resistance now. Let's put this in. Something like this. So, and you would be below it now, where you'd have a bottom area of something like that. So you're really just range bound, and you're at the, you know, if you break below here, you know, you've got to maybe a thin support there. But overall, what you can do, break out and go from 224 to 243, maybe get 8%. It's just not worth it. So these low cap coins, don't be one of the guys holding the bags for one of those. Let someone else hold that bag and let them bleed out over the next 6 months. We want to be trading the active opportunities in the main ones and getting ready with our USDT to buy up the big caps when the market capitulates or crashes, which I still do think will come. I could be wrong, but I think it will come at some point. It's happened every single time. This will be the worst tightening cycle, or the most aggressive tightening cycle in Bitcoin's history since it's been alive, that it's had to endure from the Fed. So I think it has to come. I really do. And we notice on the addresses, so let's look at whale map. We see that there are some decent buys, but nothing really ultra substantial on the large wallet inflows. And if we look at the Bitcoin addresses on the 1Ks, they've spiked up. Let me zoom out. We know this big line here was an anomaly, and here they've basically gone up, down, and back up again. There's no significant risking on. And with there being no significant risking on, you know from these guys, they're not doing the accumulating. It's these guys. It's the smaller guys. So when the smaller guys are doing the accumulating in the big cap coins, that's probably what's held up the buy side pressure, so that when the big dogs have been selling, i.e. reducing their size, the small guys have picked up all those bags. So if the market does pull back to 30k again, and say it drops into the 28, 29k, what do you think these guys are going to do that are the smaller guys? They're going to capitulate on their bags and think, I'm out, I'm done, I want to get rid of this. So what are coins like Mana, Sand, Curve going to do under those situations? They're going to absolutely fold. You know, you could easily see Mana back down to 108, and that wouldn't be saying anything that's like ultra shocking or surprising. So I think it's tough to play. Let's look at Mina. I think it's tough to play some of these small caps, knowing the overall situation and knowing what you're sort of trying to fight against. In no man's land again, would need to get above 265. Yeah, we need to get above 265. It's interesting me. Obviously here we got a nice close above, a few retests, but once you got a few closes above, the momentum kicked in. You had some volume come in. So that's obviously a key level. But yeah, let's move on from Mina. This is a huge lesson in horizontal supports and resistances. Once you claim a level and you see some volume start coming in, you can really have some pumps higher, and that's what you've got to be looking for. So look at compound. Okay, not too bad. Oh no, that's bad. This is just so low. There's just no reason why this can't return down to 100. But there's also no reason why this can't. Look how much volume you got here. And you got to move from 120 to 170. You know, it's okay. It's pretty good. It's nearly 50%. But you need to go from 140 now to 223 to to get above a significant level. This is just so low. It's not worth taking the risk on it. Let's look at near. Near is similar to Luna. Near is one of those ones I am considering to short. Let's look on the daily. So here you had a bull div, no bull div, no bull div. This is probably worth shorting at some point when the time is right. At this moment in time, I don't think being in Bitcoin, I don't think the time is right to short against it. So look at Aave. Okay, 206 is the level. It needs to get above 206. It's held this support at 159, which is good, but I'm not going to become interested until we get above 206. If we can get above 206, then I could potentially be interested. So look at VET. I know some of you like VET. Okay, this is okay. Looks a bit bear flaggy though. You didn't even get the bull div, but you did get the wick. See, I'm trying to think of like positive things to say about some of these coins, and sometimes I just say, look, the best thing I could say to you guys is, look, this is rubbish, just stay away from it. If we got above 7 cent, then potentially that could be worth a buy, but you'd want to see it battle a bit, get clearly above, see the volume start building up, then pick up a position, and then keep a tight stop loss at like 0.068. So you're potentially going and losing something like 10%, that would be something like that. So yeah, that's what you've got to really look for is losing something like that, knowing it could shoot to like, no, you wouldn't lose 10%, you would lose less. Down to 63 would be 10%. No, you'd lose a few percent, nothing really too major, but you could go and get a move from 0.07 to 0.78 and gain 10%. You're looking at 3 to 1 there. That's then worth playing. But here now, at this level, it's not really worth playing, especially when you've come off a low. You're creating what looks similar. It's not a very good one. Because you can't really discount these wicks. But it's something like this. So you just don't want to get involved in that. And you didn't get the bull div there. So I'm not going to be interested in this. Someone asked me about Gala the other day. So with Gala, there's a lot of insiders selling. Like the sell side pressure on this one is absolutely huge. So for this reason, I would stay away from Gala because there's just so much new supply coming to the market every day, every month. So it's very hard for this to really build up in price unless insiders stop selling, i.e. this, and that's what ends up happening. But I wouldn't want to get involved in this if I was some of you guys. Let's look at waves. Really disappointing to look at, but yeah, it's just come down. We knew it would come down. It's not even low enough on the RSI for me to be interested. Did create a bull div there though. It's just so manipulated. It created a bull div, and this should be good for a bounce to like 26, and you might go and get 10, 20, 30% because you're coming off this kind of move, which is clearly, you know, let's look at this on. This got into the 90s on the daily. That's just, I'm actually really annoyed at myself. I wasn't shorting this here. I don't know if we were in the group. I think we were in here and we cut our losses like there, which was obviously very good because you got that. But I feel like we were shorting here, so I am annoyed we wasn't able to take advantage of this. So it's actually probably not good for me. I should have done better on this one. I am maybe harsh on myself on this, but I really feel like this, you know, could have easily taken advantage of this one here. So look at Rune, and then we'll look at Ape and be done. Yep. So Rune is okay. This is one I would consider shorting. If we can get back above or even touch 12, late 12s, early 13s, this would be one I would consider shorting, assuming Bitcoin hits its top at some point there. Also, then I would probably consider doing that. Let's look at Ape. Nice move on Ape. I think they've announced something with their land, but overall, I need more data for this chart to play out. And price-wise, it's held relatively stably, to be honest. You've been sort of between mid-10s and mid-14s, so you have some swings, but overall it's been pretty, considering it came out at $1, it's done pretty well. Scroll back to Bitcoin. So on the daily, you've actually got an inverse hammer, which is not good, but it's a blue inverse hammer, so that is okay. So let's see how this closes. But I think there's a few opportunities we're looking at. Sol, probably not Matic. We'll forget Matic. It's Sol and AVAX are the main ones. Obviously, there's a fresh watch list coming tomorrow, so let's wait for that first thing in the morning. Hope Bitcoin closes okay this evening, and yeah, we'll basically take it from there. But hopefully, it all closes okay, and we can take advantage of a decent opportunity tomorrow. But yeah, that's it for me this evening. As per usual, any questions, just fire over in the chats, and yeah, we'll go from there. See you guys all tomorrow morning. Cheers, everyone.